Kentuckians already know Tim Farmer. 28 years on TV, more than 1,500 episodes.
Right here in Farmer's Kitchen.
Hello and welcome to the Farmer's Kitchen.
Tens of millions of views online. Tim's been on the cover of Kentucky Living. Twice. 25 years apart. Multiple tributes have already told his life story.
Yes, Farmer is our last name.
That's right.
Yet, Tim Farmer is still creating new highlights every day.
Go back.
So, what can Kentucky Electric Cooperatives add to the Tim Farmer story? In the co-op world, we like to say our power is our people.
And the last thing we saw was them two mules here going down the river.
And as it turns out,
What a shot!
people are Tim Farmer's power, too.
He will light up a space with people.
I think Tim connects with viewers through his warm nature.
Tim never meets a stranger. He's just like welcoming to any and everybody.
It's fun to see people that just love him, like just absolutely, and then feel like they know him.
I think the real thing is he connects with every person from everywhere.
He is exactly what you thought he was when you watched the program that he's hosting.
So he's just a tremendous inspiration for everyone.
My first place in Maysville was up on a hill on this beautiful farm in the middle of nowhere. So creeks, ponds, horses, cows, and it was just a perfect youth.
He's comfortable with people. I noticed this at an early age, and it used to worry this mother.
And I saw this old guy, and I'd seen him in the school bus. He was under a bridge, and they called him the Troll.
He would walk up to anybody if there was something that interested him about them and start talking to them, just like he'd known them forever.
And he would just deftly cut those muskrat legs off and twist them up, put them up, skin them, and put them in his pocket. And I saw him, and like in a ditch, like over there. I thought, that's the guy, that's the Troll.
I used to worry, he's going to be kidnapped. I know he's going to be kidnapped.
So we moved to Grayson, and up there I'd run into people like Dexter Wilburn and Arnold Bush, and these guys were in their 70s during shakeout season, climbing trees barefooted and shaking out possums and, screaming, laughing, and drinking whiskey. And those are the guys that taught me just everything about the outdoors, and that's who I hung out with, if I wasn't by myself. My plan was to do 20 years in the Marine Corps, retire at 38, and then do another 20 years in the state police. That's what I thought I was going to do.
On leave after visiting his parents in Carter County, the 20-year-old Marine was heading back to his Naval Air Base in Memphis when he lost control of his motorcycle.
And there was gravel and coal dust and whatever, and I hit that 30 miles an hour. I had time to look at my speedometer, and I thought, I'm going down. There wasn't any way to stop it. So I went under the guardrail and got pinned between the bike, and I felt a huge bang and a bump, but I didn't. You can't feel anything when you have that much trauma. And I think your body just shuts you down.
Bleeding profusely, his right arm all but lost, Tim survived. But a long and painful recovery led to the ultimate realization he had lost use of his arm mid-bicep down.
Well, there were surgeries, and they took nerves out of both legs and put them on an arm. That was unsuccessful. So basically, then I was left with the pain. Unrelenting, horrific pain.
The painkillers he was prescribed sapped his energy, so Tim decided to lean on his will instead.
One day I woke up and, man, I could smell, could taste. I wanted to eat, and I wanted to go fishing. And so I thought, wow, I'm done with this. I'm done. Now, the pain was overwhelming. And I called him. I said, when is this going to stop? When's it going to get better? He said, it's going to get worse. I'm like, okay, well, there's that. So what I figured out was when I was fishing or busy or working, you didn't have as much time to think about it. So I started staying real busy.
Tim entered college, first with the idea of becoming a history teacher, then biology, all the while hunting and fishing and catching the attention of a game warden who convinced him to apply for a job at the Department of Fish and Wildlife.
And I could tell there was a little hesitation there. So I said, well, listen, I said, I really want to work here. I said, I'm sure there's some sort of period of time where you see if I can do it. If not, we'll part ways, no big deal. I said, but I would really like to work here, and I think you'll find I'll be able to do it.
And here he is shooting a bow with his teeth, and he goes fishing. He can cast farther than we can cast.
I like it.
You do like
I like that. I do like that.
Usually you say less.
I do like
so
that.
You do like the action.
I like that.
Okay.
And he even developed something where he can play guitar. And it's just amazing. Here's this guy who goes to work for Fish and Wildlife. A few years later, he's named the host of the longest running outdoor program in America.
No, to your left now, farmer, to your left. Left, farmer.
Just a down-home Kentucky boy, just natural. My hesitancy behind the camera, I would always ask him, how do you just do that so naturally? And it's something that he doesn't even think about.
That's probably the funnest part of being in a dove field. As you get older, you enjoy hanging out with your buddies more and more. It wasn't a high-paying job. You know, I always had to do a side gig. But just to get to go out with people and meet a bunch of people, quality people, I mean, good salt-of-the-earth people. And the old guys, man, I wore them out.
You know, how many people now understand the nexus between what rural Kentucky means and the economy for the state of Kentucky relative to tourism and hunting and fishing.
And then when I kind of got into the position of being in Kentucky Field, I started getting some calls. Tim, my uncle's had a stroke.
Well, a lot of the patients we took care of, you could imagine, a little depressed and concerned about their disabilities or injuries. Tim would come to the hospital and buoy him up, cheer him up, and say, listen, guy, I mean, this is my disability. But it's not really a disability. There are things you can do, and on and on and on. And that started the relationship between us and Cardinal Hill.
People will call him, he'll go and help people that have injuries like him, and he'll help them get hooked up to shoot a bow, to play an instrument. He's just amazing, and he's got time for everybody. I don't care who calls or has something going on, he'll stop what he's doing and he'll help them.
Nikki and I got together 23 years ago.
Nikki's a special person. I always tell people, you know, I'm about to introduce you to Tim Farmer, but you got to meet his wife, Nikki. She is great.
So you feel free?
I do, and they promise not to push me.
Don't push her.
And I think Tim needs somebody that's full of energy, because he's got lots of energy too, and so they complement each other.
I thought he was super good looking. I mean, he walked in the door, I mean, he's a good looking man. I mean, he'll turn heads, so I'm like, wow. And then he was very sweet and kind, and we just hit it off.
We kind of like each other. Our kids, we have 5 between us.
Lindsay, Elizabeth, Kelly, Rebecca, and Nicholas.
No, it's always fun. We always have games. There's always something fun planned.
Just all good kids. They all get along. They're all respectful.
We did make fun of him because we didn't know. And he had a glove on, so I asked if he was Michael Jackson. I was in 7th grade, so I apologize now.
From the beginning, when Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen launched in 2012, Kelly has been the videographer and editor with a new show every week.
We've met such great people, and I feel like he's just so good at finding some of the salt of the earth people is what he likes to call them. And I think that's why people connect with him so well. He's just a normal guy, just asking the questions that we all would ask if we were in that situation.
When do you remember getting electricity?
We didn't get electric till our second son was born on Big Run.
And I was like, those are the stories that he brings out of people with not necessarily even having to ask.
I met a French chef named Raoul Dupree. Oh my gosh.
So he was the game changer, right?
He was the game changer. So he took me under his wing and started showing me sauces and how to put this flavor together, use this spice that I'd never heard of. And that's how this whole thing started. Your kitchen is your mad scientist area, and we practice and we play and we experiment all the time.
He has done things for so long that he could have done something else and maybe made more from it, but he did what he thought he should do, what he was called to, and what he enjoyed. And
He is a true rural Kentuckian.
What were you thinking today when I called you?
Well, I thought you were just another one of your practical jokes. But he has a long-time love affair with this state, and the state has a love affair with him. We just hit him, man, and I got to give you credit for knocking me out of a good day's work. If Kentucky wanted to pick an ambassador, a traveling ambassador for the state, they couldn't do any better than Tim Farmer.
Oh, wow.
That's dense.
Oh, wow.
All right, that's stupid.
That's really good.
Katie's proud to be sharing Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen with PBS audiences across the country by sharing the natural beauty and bounty of our Commonwealth through their kind and genuine approach. They're wonderful ambassadors for all things Kentucky.
This is not even right.
Wow.
What he has meant to the outdoor world in Kentucky is probably immeasurable.
You think about the number of extraordinary circumstances it took to be sitting in this chair, to be alive at all. So why would we not celebrate every day the fact that, I mean, just the extraordinary beauty of everything around. If we can take a look around and see that beauty, why not? Just jump out there, just enjoy life. Short time.